Far, far, far away in the land of Snow Leopard 10.68, Mac System Preferences had an option called Web Sharing. There was a folder called Sites you could dump web pages into for testing or whatever. If your Mac was connected to the internet and web sharing was on, you had a live web server you could share anything you created. Say you did something in GarageBand, post it up to a web page. I am your buddy. Tell them to download your latest song. It was awesome, and it just worked. Until the Evil Queen Mountain Lion come 10.8. The Evil Queen Mountain Lion took away all these awesome features. Web pages no longer worked. There was no web sharing option. The Evil Queen Mountain Lion even took away the color icons in the Finder. Oh my. First thing we need to do is get Apache up and running. It's actually already installed, and if you type httpd -v, it'll show you what version is currently there. Now it's not running, so enable to run it, we're going to use the sudo command. If you've never done that before, you can mess things up, so use it at your own risk, even though everything we're doing here today is relatively safe. So there's the command to start it. You'll need to enter your password to make it work. The correct password. Sorry, try again. Oh, there we go. And then if you're wondering how to stop it, it's basically the same command followed by the word stop. So you'll do sudo, then Apache ctl stop. Now to check this, we're going to launch Safari after we start it up. And you'll want to go to the page http://127.0.0.1. The HTTP part's important. I've already bookmarked it. It don't show up in Safari, but you need it. Now if we stop the web server and reload the page, voila, it doesn't work. Moving on to the next part. Okay, this part is actually optional, but for system administrator types or anyone wanting to do some development, it comes in very useful. What we're going to do is configure TextEdit. So once it's started, you go to Preferences. The important thing is to make sure it's all plain text, and then also it's not going to add the .txt extension. If we're creating like configuration files and stuff like that, we don't want .txt added to it. So you need to quit TextEdit after you made them changes, and now you can open it back up. And this here is just something for later on, PHP. If you want to make a PHP file for testing, this is a good way to do it. The important part is the space, and then make sure that it closes and ends with the brackets and the question marks. And you'll want to name it PHP dot, and then make sure to give it a PHP extension in the end. Alright, that file's on our desktop. This is where your actual files are for the web hosting. Under Library, the root of your system drive, then Web Server, then Documents, and we're going to go ahead and put that PHP file in there. You'll need to authenticate anytime you do this. Tell the system you know what you're doing. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and enable PHP. Again, this is one of the things that's already there. It just needs to be enabled. Now to do this, we have to go to a hidden folder. So in Finder, go to go to folder, and then type in /etc/ and hit go. And we'll be careful messing around here. You can't mess stuff up. Today we're going to work with this httpd config file. It's always a good idea to make a backup copy there on the desktop. We're going to open it up in TextEdit. You'll need to make some changes to use TextEdit. We covered that in the last part. And we're going to look for this line here. Apache lib php5.so, and we're just going to go ahead and take out that hashtag. That means it's basically turned off. Now what it's saying here is you can't edit this file because it's location, so it makes a copy, verify that the changes took in the copy, which it did, and then go ahead and save this copy with the very same name. Make sure that uncheck that text txt. You do not want a txt extension on there. And we're going to just name it httpd.conf. And we'll save this, not on the desktop obviously, so we'll put it in the Documents folder. And now we're going to go to Finder and replace the one that was in the hidden folder, that we just, the Apache 2 folder there. And we're going to go to Documents and take the one we just created and dump it into this Apache 2 folder. Just a second. I'm doing this off a USB thumb drive, so bear with me here, folks. There we are. I wanted to get a brand new installation, so everything was configured like it would be from a brand new machine. Tell it replace it, tell them you do know what you're doing, and that's it. Now if you want to test the PHP to see if it's enabled, we'll go to Safari. There's our website, then we just type in the name of the file, and it shows the PHP. If you did what I did, it shows you some information. We're not going to really cover a lot of that right now, so we're going to move on to the next. Alright, moving right along. Installing MySQL, Part 4. It ain't real complicated. We're going to go to the MySQL website there, if you Google it, or mysql.com. And then it's kind of hiding up here towards the top under this Downloads GA tab. GA stands for General Availability. There's tons of different flavors. Some you pay for, some you don't. But just for simple development and testing phases, the free version works excellent. Wait for that to load, and then we're going to click MySQL Community Server. But if you want to look, there's a few other different downloads if you're using certain languages that'll let you connect to MySQL servers from them languages down here towards the bottom. See, we've got C++, Python, and other whatnot. But for our installation today, we're just going to go to the Community Server. Wait for this to load. Come on, hurry up. Like I said, I'm on a USB thumb drive, so give it a break, folks. And then I prefer the DMG files, disk image files, over the tar files. Are just a little easier to work with. But they're all the same, 32-bit versus 64-bit. Obviously, we're on Mountain Line 10.8, but the 10.6, as far as I've tested, works fine. So until they get a new version, it'd be all right. Now here, you don't need to sign up. Look at the bottom, it's hiding. No thanks, just start my download. Right here, yeah, you don't have to sign up, give them your email or anything. Just click this no thanks, let me start my download. Now to save a little bit of time, I've already went ahead and downloaded this, so I'm going to cancel our download there, and we'll get right to the installation. Once it's downloaded, you double click the DMG file if you did like I did. Oh wait, if you got a brand new Mac, you need to enable this. By default, nothing that doesn't come from the App Store works. This didn't come from the App Store, so I'm going to check anywhere. You can at any time after you finish the installation set this back, so it's not a real big deal. It's just a little security Apple built in to keep you in the App Store. But anyway, there's three different things. This is the one we're going to start, the MySQL 5.5 version. Just agree, whatever. There's not really a lot of options here, so let it install. The other one are system preferences pane, which we need to install, or you don't really need to, but it's easy to start and stop SQL. And then the third part is if you're, say, setting up your Mac to actually host a web page full time, the third installation will let it automatically start. By default, it won't automatically start. You have to start it. So go ahead and install that MySQL preference pane before you do this next part. This guy in charge of this computer is some sort of dummy. This ain't going to work. But after you've installed that preference pane, this is what you'll want to type in: /usr/local/ MySQL / I said / buddy. What are you doing there? bin / not period. Pay attention. This guy, I'm thinking MySQL, and then this will get you in. If you would have installed the system preferences pane and started it, our SQL server's not started right now, so of course it's not going to let you in. See how long it takes this guy to figure this out. Oh, not very long. He's a fairly bright feller. So we'll do this for all users, that's fine. Give it your password, of course. And then see that preference pane down there? And then this gives you an easy way to start and stop your SQL server. Now that it's started, that command we just issued will work. And now we're in MySQL. Alright, now that we have MySQL installed, we're going to do a little bit of basic configuration for MySQL. The first thing we're going to do is set up a root user password. By default, all SQL accounts don't have passwords, which ain't very secure. If you know this command we use, /user/local MySQL bin / MySQL admin, space -u, root, password. You need the quotes, and then where that second password is in quotes, that's the actual password you're going to use. So you might want to make it something a little more secure than password. But for now, in testing, this is what we're going to use. Alright, now that we've set up a root password, this is how you would log in. It's back to the /MySQL-U specifies a username. Then we'll cover a few basic commands. Show databases will show you all the current databases in existence. You could delete tests, the other ones are important. Create database, and then give it a name that is specific to your installation. And you need the colon there. If it works correctly, you'll see OK, query, one row affected. Now if we do show databases, you see your DB there. Alright, so we're going to quit SQL, and then we're going to use an account that's created. Also, MySQL will create an account for the local user, which in this case is Brian -u. There is no password. And then if we do show databases, something interesting here is you won't actually see your DB. That's because this account hasn't been granted privileges to that database yet. We're going to log back in as root, and then we're going to I'll show you how to give privileges to user accounts to see that database. So it'll be grant space all privileges on your DB, the name of the DB you used, your database's name, and then the wildcard means all tables and everything in it. 2, Brian, that's the local account on this machine, at localhost. And again, it should say query OK, 0 rows affected. Now if we log back out of the root account and then log in as the user Brian, we should be able to see your DB now. Show databases, there it is. Awesome. Now we're going to do use your database, and this will let you show the tables and whatnot's in the data. There are no tables now, so empty obviously. And now I'm going to show you how to change the password on the account Brian. We're going to log in as root, and then this information is actually stored in the database MySQL, so we'll do use MySQL. And this is a database that actually has the account privileges in it. So we'll do set password for Brian at localhost equals password, and then I set my password as Y. So next we're going to cover a few odds and ends for making PHP and MySQL and Apache all work together nicely. I've went ahead and to begin this shut down my SQL server. And then after you've shut it down, do sudo make directory /var/MySQL. Go ahead and enter your password, and then we need to link this up, so we'll do another sudo command ln-s/temp/MySQL.sock space /var/MySQL/MySQL.sock. Now that we got that done, we're going to go ahead and make the old sites folder that the Evil Queen Mountain Lion took away from us. So we go to your root directory, Brian there, and we're going to create a new folder. You can actually name it anything, but just to keep things pretty standard, we're going to go ahead and call it sites. Now, you used to be able to dump your web pages in there. You still can't do that just yet. We've got to do a few more commands to link the sites folder to the Apache server. So we're going to go to a hidden folder again, /etc/Apache2, and then in users. And now we need to create an HTTP config file for the user Brian. I've already showed you how to configure TextEdit in the earlier part, or whatever you like to do. This is what you need to enter for this to work. So go ahead and pause it if you need to take a second. The main thing that will change is your username. It should be different. And then if you created a folder different than the sites folder. So after you've got that done, go ahead and name it brian.conf. And we're going to dump that file into the users. And this should now allow us to serve up web pages from a sites folder. So we've got it back to the way it used to be. That was easy. And then one last thing not to forget is restart Apache so your changes take effect. And then you can do that with this command right here. Alrighty, moving right along. Alright, we're almost there, folks. Getting WordPress running. Just Google WordPress, this comes up. As I was looking for information about getting all this to work on Macs, especially the Mountain Lion, there was a lot of different little things that was said all in one, and make it easy, all configured, and I couldn't get them to work. So I just want to show you step by step everything I've done. No all-in-one solution. It takes a little bit of work, but it ain't that bad. So there's the WordPress download, and when I made this tutorial it was 3.42, as you can see. And again, I've already got this downloaded, so I'm going to go ahead and just cancel that. And WordPress really isn't an installation, it's just a folder that we're going to unzip. And then if we've done everything correctly to this point, our Apache should be able to serve up the web pages that WordPress needs to finish the installation. So there's the zip folder, and we're just going to go ahead and put it in the sites folder. And then we're going to fire up Safari. Hurry up, fire it up. Come on, what are you waiting on? This guy's a little slow. Oh, good idea. Yeah, not a bad idea to restart and get that running. Maybe this guy knows what he's doing. All right, now there you go. So we'd go to 127.0.0.1 and then type in the folder name. Oh, don't forget your tilde, then your username. In this case, it's Brian. That's where the sites folder is. And then you notice you don't actually have to type in sites. So your root directory for your web pages would be the tilde Brian. So now that we got that, the WordPress will help you do this automated install. So you are in the database name is your DB. We're going to use Brian. Our password is Y. And then this table prefix. If you had, say, multiple blogs in one database, you're only granted access to use one database at a time. This would designate the different tables. We'll show you that a little bit later. An interesting thing here, it says, sorry, you can't write the file. I don't really know what's up with that. But if you take this stuff here and copy it all as is and create your own, what we need to make is that wp config.php file. So, and earlier, if you configured TextEdit to work with plain text files, you can go ahead and just do this in TextEdit. Another thing, too, is they didn't close out their PHP code, the little copy and paste method there, so you need to add that question mark and then bracket to close it out. No space between the two. And then right there is the file name you want to give it, wp-config.php. And then you can actually go ahead and just save it in the WordPress. I save it for the desktop just to, normally in practice you would go make a backup of the one before you overwrit it. So we'll go to Sites, WordPress, and then we're just going to drag our wp config file in there, and that is it. We are ready to blog. Oh yeah, click Run the install. Almost, man, I get a little excited. Give your site, your website a name, whatever it's going to be. So your new website, sure, whatever. And then this here is actually you're creating a separate account for the WordPress admin. So you obviously see they recommend the user admin, but sometimes you change that because hackers will know that's a common name. But for now, we're just going to leave it alone. Type in Y for a password. And then an email. You don't have to put in a real working email or anything. And if you're going to use this as a production site or something, you want to make that correct. But just for testing, you can put in whatever you like for an email name. And then just as a habit, I uncheck search engines. So. And then if everything's done right, we click install. It should go right through, and you should be ready to rock. So log in. Let's see. Moment of truth. Admin and Y. No, whatever. Doesn't matter. Whatever's best for your security preferences in the scenario given. And here it is. This is your admin page for WordPress. And then if we actually go to the site itself, tilde Brian, and then the folder WordPress, and then there's the index.php file that you can start basically your home page. So this is what your users in the outside world would see. So we can take a look around and see. If we go back to our admin page, now we can actually edit. And we could actually do it from that other page, whatever way is best from you. You'd have to log in. It knows you're admin though right now because our browser sessions running in the same browser at the same time. I'm not going to cover a whole lot of the actual internal workings of WordPress here. That's half the fun, just learning how it works. But this is where you change your post. This is the first post that was made by default already. So we're just going to celebrate the fact we got it to work and rename it My First Post. And then we'll see if this update takes, and we'll know that we are in business. If you go back to part 5 and use some of the commands that we used early to select our database and show the tables, you can actually see all the tables that WordPress generates, which is a little bit behind the scenes stuff I kind of enjoyed looking at. But I think I've been babbling on long enough here. As you can see, our if we refresh, our first update took. We'll leave a reply anytime, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye.